Hello, Shaina Bilow here. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to bind off or end your knitting. So once you've worked your piece to the desired height, this is how you're going to bind off. Hold the yarn in the way that's comfortable to you for your knitting style. I'm a continental knitter, so my yarn is in my left hand. And you're going to begin by knitting 2 stitches onto the right hand needle. I've knit 2 of my stitches and here they are on the right hand needle. With my left hand needle, I'm going to pick up the first stitch that I knit, so the further one on the needle, and bring it over and off the needle altogether. So my left hand needle is going to go into the front leg of the further stitch on the right hand needle like this, and I'm going to pull it a little bit to open it up. And as I do that, I'm going to bring it over the other stitch that was on the needle and off the right hand needle altogether and off the left hand needle. So you can see right here that first stitch has now jumped over the second stitch and now has created a flat line here. To bind off this stitch, we need to knit 1 more. The goal when you're binding off is to have 2 stitches on the right hand needle and then bring the further one over the closer one and off. So I'm knitting 1 stitch and then binding off. So I'm taking this stitch here, the first one that was on the needle, the further one, the one on the right, whatever resonates with you there, and we're going to drag it over the other stitch that was there and then make sure we pop it off the needle, and you can see how that's coming out so far. As you near the end of your bind off, you're going to continue in the same way that you had been working. So notice I'm knitting my last stitch and I'm going to bind off that further stitch over it. Now I have 1 stitch remaining on my right hand needle. I'm going to cut the yarn, leaving a long enough tail that you can weave it in later, or if you're using it to seam up your project, leave it long enough for that seam. Once you have your yarn cut and this last stitch on your needle, you're going to gently pull, pull, pull. So I'm opening up this stitch, that final stitch that was on the needle. I'm going to keep pulling until the tail pops out, and that's it. That fastens it. You'll still need to weave in your tail or use it to seam or whatever, but that is the bind off. Happy knitting!